Hi guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about self-sabotage. So it is something that all of us struggle with on some level, and it is generally like a natural default, but it doesn't mean for a lot of us, but it doesn't actually mean that we have to live this way forever. Are you somebody that recognizes that you have you self-sabotaged in the past? Is that something that you have done? How does it actually show up for you? Because everyone's different. I asked a few people, and these are some of the things that they had to say that how self-sabotage turned up for them. So some people said that they quit as soon as they didn't get the results fast enough, and then after they maybe ate a meal and they ate over what they perceived were their correct calories, then had to convince themselves that they would have to lower the calories, restrict the next day, and then or over exercise. Some people they create self-sabotage, or they self-sabotage by letting the number on the scale affect their dictate if they're doing well or not, or affect them in their progress. Another one said that they were standing in front of the pantry and just eating after work, stress eating, but just eating for no real, they weren't really that hungry. Then a lot of people said that they do really well during the weekdays, and then when it comes to the weekend they blow out, and then they feel that they have to start again on the Monday, and the cycle continues that way. For some, they also talked about having strong cravings after eating, and then eating so overindulging and eating so fast that you don't even recognize that you're eating, and then you still feel unsatisfied. So self-sabotage turns up in lots of different ways for all of us, and these are just some of the ways that they do show up. And to a degree, I think some people there is a level of awareness of when you're doing this, and but the hardest part is really trying to figure out how to solve it. And this is what I'm going to help you with today. And this is obviously where lots of women get stuck. So they get stuck. They know that there's things that they're doing. So they know that they maybe binge eating. They know that they get to the weekends and then they overindulge, or they might recognize that they emotionally eat. But as much as they know what they're doing, they actually don't know how to solve it. And the first thing I really want you to start thinking about is that we have been fed kind of this lie our whole lives for so many different reasons, but for so many years we've been told, that you can't lose weight unless you do these things, or that you can't stop eating sugar, because it's addictive. In order to lose weight, you just have to simply try harder and work harder. So we've been fed these things throughout our whole life, and you probably don't even know that that's ingrained in you, that the reasons that you're not getting the results you want is because that you just need to try harder, and that you need to have more willpower in order to get these results, and or they feel that you don't have enough motivation in order to get the results that you want to. And if you just had a little bit more motivation and a bit more willpower, then you would be able to overcome these self-sabotaging cycle that I guess a lot of us women tend to have, not just women, anyone in general. And it just gets me so upset that we start to believe this, and people feel they've got to just work. They just have to, I just have to eat less, and I have to, have more willpower. And, why don't I still have the same willpower that I had, when I was 20, to just not eat, to not eat or to not overeat. And it's just simply not true. It is total crap, and it is just not the way that it is that you have to act in order to get a result, or in order to lose weight or be whatever shape or size that you want to be. You don't have to try harder. You don't have to just have more willpower or find some different type of motivation. Not at all. And it is not the solution. So the solution is not that you just have to try harder to stop binge eating, or that, you have to try harder to stop emotionally eating, any of these things. So often I see this as a solution, that women, they try to do this and it doesn't work, and they try to feel that they just have to try harder, or they have to just restrict for a bit longer, or any of those things, and then they see that it doesn't work, and then they start beating themselves up, and then they feel that they are the problem. And can I tell you one thing? You are not the problem at all. It has nothing to do with that. You are not the problem. So today I want to talk about where self-sabotage comes from. Okay, and I've coached so many women through this process of trying to overcome self-sabotage, and you see lots of the same things turn up for the same women, not to mention the members of my classes that we've been helping over the last 10 or so years that I've been running my classes to help them come over this self-sabotaging. So it is something that I have lots of experience in helping people with. The process is, with people working towards their goals, and I see the same things happening over and over again, that these women, that everyone, they have the knowledge, they know what they should be doing, and they understand that in order to lose weight, there's these things I need to do, but then it gets to this point that they start and they stop. They might see a little bit of results, but they can't keep it up, and then they feel that they've failed, and then it is a real vicious cycle or a pattern. And if this is a pattern that you are resonating with, you are definitely not alone. And if you feel like you're resonating it because you have set a goal and you really, really want to achieve it, and you want to get there, and then you get started and you do really well at the start because we're feeling that bit motivating, our motivation levels are higher, and then something crazy happens in our life, and maybe your kids get sick, maybe you have to go away for something, maybe there's some different stresses at work, any of those things. And as much as you wanted to stay on track, you wanted to stay on track, but you can't because of this situation that's happened in your life, and then you feel like you've failed, so then we give up. And then the pattern starts again. And I've seen this many, many times. And then I want you to ask yourself a question. So I want you to think about, what do you think that is holding you back? I want you to think about that. And if you are journaling or keeping that, it would be good to write this down. We think as well, when you're in this cycle, you think, well, why can't I just do it? I really want the results. Why can't I just do it? Or you might think to something you previously did. Well, I did it 20 years ago. The question today is, what keeps like a smart, intelligent woman from crossing the line to your health and fitness goals? And the real answer is you. So we are all holding ourselves back in some way, and this is really what I want you to understand by the end of today's session. Firstly, so I want you to understand how you could be holding yourself back and how you can change it. So firstly, I want you to understand that self-sabotage, it doesn't come from a lack of motivation. It doesn't come from a lack of willpower or a lack of you. So self-sabotage is just like a flower. So I'm going to use the analogy of a flower, and it manifests. So your self-sabotage manifests from mental blocks. And the key thing to these mental blocks is you don't even know that they're there. And there's these things there that are so ingrained in us that we haven't even realized that they're there. And these are the things that are holding us back. We're going to imagine, so I'm saying the self-sabotage is like a flower. So we've got this field. So I'm going to imagine this field. And the field, you see all these beautiful flowers, and they're all blooming, and they're all different colors, and they're so beautiful. But we're all looking at this field and it's beautiful. So what's the thing that you don't see when you're looking at the field? We don't see what is underneath the surface. So we can't see the roots of the flowers. So we can only see the tops. So you can see the flower, and if we reference this to so the top of the flower is self-sabotage. And we know that, so your self-sabotaging might turn up for you as in overeating, emotionally eating, but we can't see what causes this to happen because we can't see the roots of the self-sabotage. We're only looking at the surface of it. I want to get rid of my self-sabotage. So, I emotionally eat, so I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to go through the field and I'm going to pick all the tops of the flowers. So I'm going to go pick all the tops of the flowers and I'm going to get rid of them. And then I look through the field and I can't see the flowers anymore. So that's it. I've done it. I've got rid of my self-sabotage. I got rid of all those flowers, and for a few weeks it does really well for me. I do really well. Then I come back to this field a couple of weeks later, and what do I see? The flowers have all grown back. They're all back to blooming flowers again. And this is what a lot of us are doing. We say that we're going to do something, or we say say on the weekend, we're not going to overindulge on the weekend. And then, so then we say that, and we pick the head of the flower, so to speak, and we think we've solved it. And then in a few weeks' time, the same thing happens, and we are straight back to where we are, and we overindulge on the weekend. And then again, we think, I thought I got rid of that. And it keeps coming back. And that same cycle continues and continues. And the reason it keeps coming back is because there's something deeper. There's something deeper that we need to be looking at. And this is the mental blocks. And they're invisible to you, and you cannot see these blocks. And what you are seeing is the effects of these blocks. So that's how the self-sabotage is turning up for you. And it's this stopping and starting and feeling guilty and not good enough, and how come I can't just try harder? It's all of these things that you feel is not working for you, but the cause is actually something deeper. So any results that you're looking for, they're going to come from taking action. And so let's say we study for a test, and then when we study, we're going to get a certain result. And if you don't study for a test, then you're going to get different results. And we know that the action that you're taking on your health and fitness journey will produce the results that you want. And because of this, many people focus their attention on the action, on the doing. So I need to go to the gym. I need to, drink more water. I need to eat these rights of foods and track my macros. I need to get rid of sugar, all of these things. So we're focusing on all of these actions. But has anyone ever stopped, or have you ever stopped to think, where do these actions actually come from? These actions, the actions that you take actually come from beliefs. The beliefs are the roots that you can't see. So these beliefs are the roots of the flowers in this field that we just got rid of the top, but these are the roots that we need to start looking at. And these beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. So this means that the mental blocks that we're talking about, they're at the root level, at the belief. If you've been someone who has just been focused on the action all the time in the past, it's totally not your fault, because the action is really easy to sell and to be marketed to that way, because do this plan, follow this plan, do this workout, eat like this all the time, cut out this food, all of those things, they're all actions, and it's really, really easy for them to sell and to market them for you. And these things, you might even get results for a little bit. So you might start to see some results. For some reason, it doesn't stick. When in actual, it doesn't stick, or you can't stick to it. And then again, it's not your fault at all. It's just because that we were working on the actions rather than working on the thing that was driving the action. And it's the beliefs that is the thing that is driving your action. So what will actually start to shift these behaviors? So what can we do to actually start to shift these behaviors and to get down to the roots and to start shifting those beliefs and identify those beliefs that you have created? So now I'm going to help you uncover some of those beliefs, and I'm going to ask you a question. So I want you to write this down, and I want you to pause the video and take a bit of time to think about it. So I want you to answer this question: is losing weight is hard because? Now, please pause the video. Don't be one of those that just doesn't write things down and just fast forward through things. Pause the video and spend the time and do the work, okay? So I want you to write down the answer to losing weight is hard because. Different people, hopefully you have unpaused me and you have written the things down, but different people have written things like, it's losing weight is hard because I have kids, because my work is really busy, because I don't have the time, because it just never sticks. It's hard because I'm over 40. It's hard because I love sugar. It's hard for me because I really, really like food. So that's some examples of what some people have written. But what I really, really want you to consider is that everything you wrote down after the word because was actually a belief, was actually just a belief. And some of these beliefs are at the root to why you don't have the results that you want. to work through this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you what the definition of a belief is. A belief is simply a thought that you continue to think over and over again. And in fact, that you've continued to think this for so many times that you actually don't question it anymore. And you think that it's just the way that the world is. So you might then you believe that I can't lose weight because I have kids. I can't lose weight because I just love sugar too much. And it's this thing it's these beliefs that you told yourself over and over again that you now just believe it as true. But this doesn't have to be the way. So what if all these beliefs, they're just stories? You see them that they're just stories that you're telling yourself. So now you don't see them as a belief. You actually see it as fact. The thing about beliefs is they don't show up as beliefs. They show up as facts, and that's just the way the world is. You might be looking at me and you might be thinking, well, Renee, I've written down these things and they are an actual fact. That's not true for me. So, you could be like, well, I have an autoimmune condition, so I can't lose weight because of that. I'm going through menopause, so I can't lose weight for that reason either. So again, these are facts, and they are things that you might be going through or things that you might have. But I really, really want you to consider how we trick ourselves. So we trick ourselves because we don't actually finish the sentence. Okay. So the question that I asked you before, we're adding on to it. So the question I asked you before was losing weight is hard because, and then I want you to finish the sentence with, and that means, okay? So losing weight is hard because, and that means. So we're going to finish this sentence. So I want you to pause me again and write what you think that means. So people could say that they can't lose weight and because they have children, and that means I'm too old, and that means it's too late for me to try. So they could be some things, but again, I want you to consider that all of these could be some beliefs that are holding you back. And if you have anything like that you feel is stopping you, so it could be things like I can't lose weight because I have kids. I can't lose weight because I don't have the time. Then there's so many examples of stories of people who have multiple kids and they've been able to lose weight or maintain their weight or cut out sugar or do whatever the things that they're looking to do. There's multiple examples of people that have lost weight while working full time. Lots of people that have lost weight while having autoimmune conditions or through menopause or any of those other things. So these are beliefs that you have. They doesn't have to be your reality if you don't want it to be. It's just these stories that we've told ourselves over time and time that we feel it's reality. So hopefully we're starting to debunk some of them. It's not a matter of age, history, circumstances, and it's not the reason that you cannot see the results you want. The reason that you can't see the results you want is because that this is what you believe that it means about you. So what you think or believe about yourself will impact your experience of it. And when we think about it, it's really, really powerful. And it is something that I really work hard to always think about how I believe a situation to be or how I want something to be. And I really think your thoughts create your reality. So, again, I'll repeat it. So what you think or believe about yourself will impact your experience of it. I've talked a lot about this before we go through a lot of this in some of the programs I have. I know some people will come up with things and they go, well, common questions that people come up with and they say, well, what about genetics? Well, I want to explain. So you think, well, this is my genetics. So my genetics are overweight. This is how I have to be as well. And I want you to explain the difference between fact and interpretation. And this again, so yes, there is a fact that you have certain genetics. That is a fact. But you're interpreting these facts to meaning XYZ. And this then becomes an excuse for what is possible for you. And I'm not discounting science, because science is real. And what is really important is how the science impacts you and what you believe about the science and how you use it to get real results. So I want you to ask yourself this question. If you continue to think that losing weight is hard, how will this shape your actions? Because of this, how is it going to then impact your results? So if you believe that losing weight is hard and it can only be done in a certain way, I guess through over-exercise, restriction, cutting out everything possible, then that's how it's going to show up to you. If you believe it's a horrible journey, that I'm not ready to start it because I'm not ready to go through that, I'm not ready to go out and socialize with my friend, I'm not ready to cut out on all of that stuff, or to cut out alcohol, I'm not ready for all of that, then that's how it's going to show. If you think that losing weight isn't fun and it has to be something that's really hard, then again, that's how it's going to show up for you. How can we start shifting those beliefs? Because if you also believe that losing weight will be enjoyable, then it can show up that way also. So we have to start. So how can we start shifting those beliefs? Is we need to start recognizing. And so how you see your goals, your results, the progress you're getting, is how it's going to show up for you. So you see that your progress will only happen when it's really hard. It's something that you have to, takes a big toll on your body, and you have and that's the only way that you'll get a result. Then that's how it's going to show up for you. But you could also see it as a totally different way. The whole process can be something that's fun. It can be something that you can still socialize, you can still eat lots of food, you can still even have some sugar. It can be that way if we start to see it in that way. And it really comes down to thinking, what have you been telling yourself previously? What's the stories that you've been telling yourself about losing weight, and how it shows up? So what are the stories that you've been telling yourself over and over again? If you are thinking that losing weight is going to be difficult, so like I've said, this is how it's going to show up. And it comes down to figuring out what you've been telling yourself for a long time. And you've been telling yourself this, the stories that you've been telling yourself, and this is how it's showing up. And what results have you been getting from telling yourself that? You've been telling yourself this, you've not been seeing results, and then realizing that this could be the exact reason that this is how it's showing up for you. So we want to stop questioning we stop questioning the beliefs because we believe them just to be true. So we believe it to be fact, but we want to start debunking them. So we want to start questioning what our beliefs are, and see how that could change how our results turn out. So when we've been surrounded by something that you've been telling yourself for a really, really, really long time, we don't even see it as a belief in it anymore. It just becomes reality. There's a story of, two fish like swimming. One fish says to the other fish, oh, I see the water's really clear today, and this other fish says, what's water? He doesn't even recognize that he lives in water because it's just becomes normal to him. And these are what these beliefs sometimes become like for us. They just become so normal that we actually don't know any different. So, and we do all this stuff. We have all these thoughts and these beliefs, and we don't even realize it. And they can be some things that have been ingrained in us from when we were children. And we stop questioning them. We stop questioning whether they're true or they're not true. And now that we can start questioning it and thinking about it and recognizing some of the beliefs we have, we can start poking holes in it. And we can then start to rethink about what is actually possible and what this actually means for us. And then we can start to realize that anything is possible. Everything is possible. You could be whatever shape, size, muscle build you want to be at whatever age. We just have to start changing these beliefs or our belief system to believing that, and seeing that it is very, very possible. So I hear everyone saying, okay, I understand. I get this, Renee. It's all good. But how do you actually fix it? So how do we solve the problem? So I want you to know that by actually identifying the problem and recognizing that that these belief systems that we want to maybe work through them or realize, think about are they true or not, is actually about 60% of the work. Because up until this point, you just thought it was true. So up until this point, you believed that everything that we believed was true. And now that we're starting to bring this awareness and we're seeing that we don't have to be restrictive in order to lose weight. We don't have to cut out all sugar and be crazy. And you don't have to give up on all the foods that you love, that you don't have to do all these things, with the belief that we did have to do that. No wonder you're not getting results. But the first step is into defeating the self-sabotage is bringing down these beliefs that are causing your behavior. I'm going to work through like one common belief that people have, and it will give you an example of how you can start to work through your own. Or we work, I work together with people and we work through this together in my program, like the Little Black Dress Project. But so one really common belief that people have is, well, if it hasn't worked for me before, it's not going to work for me this time. I've tried however many times over the years, why would this time be different? Have you ever felt that way? I'm sure we could all put our hands up and say, and it's crazy how many of us let the past predict the future. Now, since we now understand the power of our beliefs and how they could be the things that might be holding us back, and if you keep telling yourself that the past will predict your future, then how do you think that's going to shape your actions? So before you've even started, you've already told yourself you can't do it. Well, I tried a program before and it didn't work. I tried to do this and it didn't work. You already know that you aren't going to be successful. And so why would you even bother to try? So we're letting our past behavior predict our future, and we're not even trying. We're not even starting because, well, when I previously did this, this is what I did. And if you believe that you weren't going to be successful, then why would you get up? If you believed you weren't going to achieve it, then why would you even get up and go to the gym? Why would you spend the time to prep your food? Why would you even try when you already knew, or you'd already decided that you were going to fail? Why? I don't know. I wouldn't. Why would you even try? Why would you even do anything if you knew it eventually wasn't going to work? You knew you were going to fail. And most people are, they're scared of failure, and sometimes that being scared of failure stops them from even starting. So you're going to probably see what it's going to cost you if we keep continuing to think this way. And, and this is when you can see that it's a choice. And you have a choice. So you are choosing to think that it's never going to work because you've tried it before and you failed. You can now recognize that this is a belief. Now it's becoming a choice. So you can see that you can continue, you can understand that these are beliefs, and these beliefs don't have to be fact. And you can continue to keep telling yourself that, and you have the choice in what you choose, how you believe things. Because if we can continue to tell yourself that your past predicts your future, and you will continue to repeat this over yourself, and then your future will be no different from what your current reality is. So we keep telling ourselves this over and over, and you're in exactly the same position as you are now. And like I said before, so many of us are so scared of failing and that we never give it a try anyway. That we don't even want to start, because what happens if we start doing something and I don't do it right? What happens if I start a new program and I can't finish it? What happens if I start to quit sugar but then I have sugar? So they don't even start anymore because they don't want to fail. But what about if have you ever considered that by not starting, that's the failure? You've created that reality that you're so scared of by not even starting. So by not even starting, that's where you've actually failed. And it's costing you so much. You're still here in this same position? Because we're letting this fear hold us back, this fear of failure. And it's costing you so much more than you realize of if you are not happy with your body, not happy with the shape you're in, not happy of your health, it's stopping you from spending time with your kids, it's stopping you from going out and doing activities, it's holding you back, when it's all things that you can change and that you can make such a difference to your life if we just take this one little step forward. And the reason why most of us doing this is because that most of us are self-sabotaging, is because there is some form of a secondary gain. So while it's holding you back from achieving your goals and those things, but there is some gain that you are getting by doing this. So this is the next concept that I want to bring to you. So our first was thinking about our beliefs and how our beliefs shape our reality, and how we could maybe look at changing those beliefs and changing those beliefs into something that is aligned with our goals, or recognize that they're not set in stone. The next thing is that everything that we do, we are getting some secondary gain in some way. They're giving us some form of a benefit. So we're holding on to these beliefs, and we're not going to keep holding on to them unless there is something that we're getting from that. Generally, for a lot of people, it's to do with safety. So safety and staying in this comfort zone and staying in that comfort zone all the time. A goal that somebody has, so whether it's a health goal, any of those things, it's generally something that's outside of the comfort zone. And the thing to remember is, if anything that you wanted to achieve was in your comfort zone, you would already be there. So anything that is a goal is going to be that little bit out of the comfort zone. And we have all these beliefs that we're telling ourselves all the time, that we can't do this because I'm a sugar addict, or I'm a perfectionist, or I'm too old, or I'm going through menopause, or anything I've tried, it never works for me. And the benefit for telling ourselves these stories is that it's keeping us safe. So it's keeping us in our comfort zone. It's meaning we don't have to actually do the work, that we can just stay where we are and we can stay comfortable, and we don't have to take that risk of failure. And so the result is that you never change, that you never get the results you want, because we keep these same beliefs. And these beliefs are the things that are keeping us safe, but they're also the ones that are keeping you stuck. This belief, or this staying in our comfort zone, is not allowing us to get the results you want, because we're never going to step outside of that comfort zone because we want to stay safe. But when we start to shift these beliefs to I can do this, I am strong, I like sugar and I'm going to be in control of it, I can do this with small changes. When we start to shift these beliefs and shift how we think about how we talk about them, or lots of people say, I tend to have a perfectionist quality. I'm a perfectionist. That's when people say, I can't just go perfect, but you could change your wording to, I tend to have perfectionist quality. And then we start to look at how we are talking to ourselves, and what's the stories that we are telling ourselves. That we're only able to get the results when, if I can do this. We want to to get the result, we want to start to learn to step out of that comfort zone. The future that you want, so the new reality that you want, is out of that comfort zone. The thing to understand, that as we keep evolving and as we keep stepping out of that comfort zone, the comfort zone becomes different and it becomes bigger. So if you think about something that you've done, driving a car, how hard did that feel when you first started it? I remember my mum took me to a car park, and she took me to a car park and she said, just drive. And I didn't know how to do it. I was too scared to take my hand off the wheel because I didn't know how to drive a car. Now I drive a car without even thinking about it every day. I remember the first job that I ever got as a trainer. I went in to get a job as a trainer, and I never went for I pretty much had the job. All I had to do was do a trial, and I never showed up because I was so scared of talking in front of people, in being in front of people. And now I do it every day without even thinking, but that was my comfort zone and I was too scared, and that held me back for 3 years. And this is what I'm saying, that your comfort zone expands. We just need to start stepping out of it and realizing that that's, in order to get a change, we need to start getting out of that comfort zone and what feels comfortable. And you'll look back and you'll think, why did I hold myself back for so long for something? I never went to that job because I was so scared. And it's now I'm like, think, oh my God, if I never finally got the courage to do this, I would never be doing the thing that I loved the most. And then we start feeling safe in the new comfort zone, and then we try something different, and it expands, and it keeps going. But it is all so possible for you. The next question I have for you is, I want you to write down, in order to lose weight, I need to. So I want you to think about what things you need to do. So please pause the video and write it down. So some people might write things, hopefully you've written it down. They might things like, I need to be more consistent. I need to be perfect. I need to eat less. I need to stay accountable. I need to work out more. I need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You could, I need to, anything. So I want you to think, how many things did you write down? So, you can let me know, did you write more than 5 things? Did you let me know more than 10 things? You just can pop it down and let me know. So these are the things that you've told yourself that you need to do in order to lose weight. And when you look at this list of the things you've written, so you might have written, I need to exercise this amount of times, I need to, when you look at these things that you've written down, some people might look at it and think, oh yeah, that's fine, I could do that, yep. And but if you're like me, you might look at that and you might think, that's really overwhelming, it's too hard, it's too much. And the thing to think about is, if it was easy, you would already be doing it. If it was in your comfort zone, you would already be there. And so it's really, really easy, and it's really normal to feel overwhelmed. Have you ever felt overwhelmed before? When is a time that you might have felt overwhelmed? And, when we see these big, large lists of things that we need to do, it is really a natural response to feel overwhelmed and then to want to shut down. And overwhelm is a reaction that our brain does to keep us safe. It gives us an out. So it makes it okay for us to not complete the program. It makes it okay for us to not step out of that comfort zone or to stay inside that comfort zone. And so your secondary gain in this circumstance would be that you don't have to take any action. And I want you to think, how is that working for you? We feel overwhelmed, we think it's all too much, and we don't do anything. How is that working for you? So I want to ask you, do you want to learn how you can overcome their feeling of overwhelm and how you could use this for everything in the future? Because at some point in your life, anything you do, there is going to be a point that, and if you have a health journey, there is a point that you are going to feel overwhelmed. And you can make a choice if you choose to stay safe, and if you choose to stay in this feeling of overwhelm, or if you choose to move past it. So, and overwhelm will occur. Okay, no matter of a doubt, it is something that will occur. But if you stay in overwhelm, that is a choice that you have. And you can choose to stay in it, or you can choose to get out of it. So we feel overwhelmed. We want to stay in this nice safety comfort zone. Let's firstly go through what overwhelm is. So overwhelm is defined as what most people have seen. So when we look at overwhelm, define it as something that's negative. So overwhelm is something when we feel it's all too hard, it's our brain's reaction, but we're seeing it as something negative. But instead of seeing it as something negative, I want you to consider that overwhelm can actually be really great. Overwhelm, when you feel overwhelmed, it's a sign that you're learning something new. It's a sign that we might need to step out of that comfort zone, which is getting you further to where you actually want to be. to get a result, we need to step out of the comfort zone, because if the result was in the comfort zone, we would already be there. And so if you think that you can get results without learning something new, it's like going surfing and thinking you can't get wet. It's just not possible. We need to learn something new. You need to do something new in order to get the result that you're looking for. And you can't have it all. You can't say, I want to have the cake and eat it too, or, food, where we will be going more into the food, but you can't say you want all these results, but as soon as I feel overwhelmed, I'm not going to take any action. I'm going to just stop. We're going to stop, and I'm going to give up as soon as I feel overwhelmed, because you can't have both of them. So you can't have these results by staying in the comfort zone. We need to learn something new in order to get a change. And overwhelm isn't bad. It's not something to see bad about. I actually, on the opposite, feel excited because I think I'm learning something new. It means I'm on the right path. It means that I'm getting there. So I want you to think that overwhelm, its tendency to lead us to inaction, but it's the cure. But the cure for overwhelm is action. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to think that when I'm feeling this, I need to just start taking action. And that's how we can start moving forward. So self-sabotage is something that I think a lot of us feel that we've been through. But I really want that hope that you can learn from this, that we can start, that this doesn't have to be the way we are. And that if we're just looking at the surface of things, then we are just like putting out little fires all the time, and we're still not getting there for the long term. But if you start to look a little bit deeper, if you start to look a little bit deeper, if we start to look at the belief systems, we look at what we do when we feel overwhelmed, we look at the actions that we're taking, then we can really start getting the results that we want, and the long-term results that we want to get forever. So make sure you let me know what has this, have you learned anything new from this? What has this video maybe made you realize? What does this now make you think about self-sabotage and what you are going to do moving forward? What are you going to do when you feel overwhelmed by a situation? Make sure you let me know, because I would love to hear. And I will speak to you all very, very soon.